Hello everyone, so welcome to card number 15. Starting off, I use Momento Tuxedo Black ink and my Little Witch stamp by Whimsy. And then I get in a little bit closer and I do her hair in sections so you can see. I use E23, 27, and 31 to do this hair. And I just go in using a little bit of a darker color just to give her hair more definition. Now for the small portions of her skin, I go in using E00, 11, 13, and for her cheeks I use R20. I use my white gel pen just to add the whites back into her eyes because it got lost with the ink from her skin tone. Now I'm going to go into her hat, into her dress, and I'm starting off using my lighter shade and then I go darker and then I come back again. So for her dress and her hat, I use C3, C5, C7, C8, and C9. And as you can tell, I'm just going back and forth blending it out, so I'm using a lot of ink this time, but I really want it to be very blended. For her dress and also the rim of her hat, I go in using YR04, 07, and 09. And for the buckle portion on the very top of her hat, I use Y28 just to give that gold tone. For the broom, I use E44, 47, and 49. And when I get to the tip of the broom, I just go ahead and I use little strokes and I just bring it towards the center of the broom and then I just keep on adding it to make it more defined so it looks like bristles on a broom. Next I use my Tim Holtz Tattered Banners die and I cut out one of the strips using that. Now I'm going to adhere it to my table so that I can use my Stampamagij and place my sentiment perfectly on there. Next I take two circle dies that I just cut out and I'm using my Tim Holtz and I'm just going around, and the colors that I used are Spice Marmalade and Fired Brick, And I just go around that and the banner, and I just give it a little bit more of coloring, especially the banner. The banner was just stark white, so I just use that and my black soot just to give it more definition. And now I'm going to bend it up so that way I can place it on the card at the end. Now I take my Martha Stewart confetti punch and I just go ahead using some yellow cardstock and just punch out quite a few of these little stars. Now I'm taking some thread and my Tombow mono multi, and I'm going to sit here and string these along, doing 3 on each strand. Next, I take my Whimsy Stella in white and I just fill in those stars to give it a little bit more shimmer and to lighten the color. Next, I'm taking my Impression Obsession die and I'm just going to cut that out twice in black cardstock. And then I'm going to take my Colorbox ink in white and I'm just going to go along the top using a dauber just to soften this out. Now I'm just going to take my cloud punches, and I have 2 sizes, I have the small and the large, and I'm just punching these out, and then I'm going to run them through my little Xyron sticker maker. And when those are done, I'm just going to make sure that I press down to make sure all the adhesive is really stuck on there well. And then, as you see, I'm piling them up. And then I'm going to take some white flocking, and this is by Recollections, and I sprinkle it on, and I use my finger and I just push it into place. And then I'm going to show you closer so you can see it gives it some awesome texture. I love flocking powder. And then I just complete this and do this to the rest of those clouds. So now I'm just putting adhesive on the back, and I'm going to take my little strings with my stars and just start adhering those to the back. And then I reinforce it using some tape, and then I'm just going to stick it down to the card base, being very careful so that they don't go over. Now I'm taking my circle and I'm just adhering that along with the witch, which I did make sure that I popped her up. And I'm just going to start sliding in these clowns where I had it. So kind of I did a little sketch beforehand so I knew exactly where they were going to go. And then I used my Tombow and some of the pop dots just to adhere those down, and I just do them randomly around her. And now I'm starting to adhere that little bottom piece down to the bottom of the card, and then I cut off the extra that hangs off, and I use a little bit of Tombow on a piece of paper, and I get underneath those little tiny pieces. Now I'm adhering my banner right underneath the witch, and I wanted to create a second layer, so I just use that and I pop it up with some foam tape. And for the inside sentiment, I didn't have the cloud big enough, so what I did was I just took one of my clouds and I just kind of made my own little sketch around that cloud, and then I kind of make it a little bit smaller when I'm cutting it out with my scissors. That's why I show it, so I can put that on the inside of the card. So now it's time to assemble the inside of my card, and I'm kind of going with the same theme as the front of the card, and I'm just adhering everything down. And I also did the same exact little die on the inside, but this time I just made sure that it was completely flat on there. And then I'm going to add my sentiment onto the bottom, and that basically completes my card for today. So I hope you like card number 15. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.